We've seen some dark moments on the cobbles over the years, haven't we? But let's be honest, the latest descent of Daniel Osbourne feels like a different kind of tragedy altogether. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is he just a man pushed way past his breaking point? Or is he finally showing us the monster that's been lurking beneath that intellectual, book-loving exterior all along? When you look at Daniel, you see the Oxford boy, the teacher, the golden child of the Barlow clan. But right now, that image is completely shattered. It's not just cracked, it is gone. And the scary thing is, we might be seeing the real Daniel for the first time in a long time. Think about where this all started. Daniel has always wrapped himself in the safety of his books and his big academic dreams. That's his armor. It's how he protects himself from a world that usually treats him like he's a bit too sensitive or a bit too much. But lately, that armor has been falling off piece by piece. When we talk about his recent violent confrontation with Megan Walsh, we have to look way past the surface-level anger. This isn't just about a bad breakup or a girlfriend who turned out to be a liar. It's about the total destruction of how Daniel sees himself. Megan didn't just lie to him. She used his life, his professional reputation, and his flat as a shield for her crimes with Will. For someone like Daniel, who prides himself on being the smartest guy in the room, being played like a fool is a psychological death blow. He didn't just lose a partner. He lost his sense of superiority. You could argue that his rage toward Megan is actually a displaced rage toward his own perceived stupidity. He can't handle being the person who didn't see the truth. So what does he do? He turns that internal shame into external violence. The encounter outside the pub is such a perfect and honestly terrifying example of a man who has lost every bit of impulse control. He's already been refused alcohol, which, in his mind, is just one final insult in a day full of them. And then there she is. Megan. She represents everything that has gone wrong. When he lets rip at her, he isn't just shouting at an ex-criminal. He is trying to scream away the consequences of his own choices. It's a classic case of an ego in freefall. He's looking for a soft place to land, even if that place is a violent outburst that could ruin him forever. But wait, we can't really analyze Daniel's current state without talking about the Ken factor. Does this all feel a bit like déjà vu to you? It should. Because this is the exact same man who once pushed his own father down the stairs and left him for dead just because of a book. When Daniel accidentally injures Ken during that tense showdown at number 1, can we really call it an accident? Or is there something deeper and much more sinister going on there? Psychologically, Daniel seems to have this weird target fixation on Ken whenever his life becomes a mess. Ken is the symbol of everything Daniel wants to be, but also everything he resents. He wants Ken's approval so badly, yet he hates the pressure of being the golden child expectation. When he goes to lash out at Adam and hits Ken instead, it feels like a subconscious manifestation of his deep-seated resentment toward his family's judgment. It's like his hands are doing what his mind won't admit he wants to do. The accidental nature of the hit is a very convenient story for Daniel to tell himself, but for us watching at home, it's a terrifying pattern. It suggests that whenever the pressure gets too high, Daniel's first instinct is physical aggression toward the people he's supposed to love the most. Even Rob Mallard, the actor who plays him, has said that he could never forgive Daniel for what he did to Ken in the past. It's not just bad luck. It's a personality trait that Daniel has never actually fixed. He's trapped in a cycle where his intellectual mind can't keep his primal, violent impulses in check anymore. And while Daniel is the one throwing the punches and the insults, we have to talk about the woman holding the strings. Jodie Ramsey. Her role as the truth-teller troll is one of the most calculated pieces of psychological warfare we have seen on the street in years. Why is she doing it? Is it just about having a place to stay? Or is it something much more twisted? Jodie has identified Daniel's biggest insecurity, his reputation, and she is systematically pulling it apart. By posting these vile accusations about him grooming students or ignoring Megan's crimes, she is making sure he stays in a state of constant, low-level panic. This is textbook gaslighting. She creates the threat, the troll, and then she presents herself as the only person he can trust to help him deal with it. It is a brilliant, if totally evil, strategy. Think about how she watches him. She sits there in his flat, acting like a friend, while he's scrolling through those messages at 3 a.m. He isn't just reading insults. He is consuming a poison that she is hand-feeding him every single day. The fact that she can sit there and watch him spiral, even when it starts to affect his young son Bertie, shows a level of coldness that makes even Megan Walsh look like an amateur. Have you ever met someone who could be that two-faced? It's enough to give you chills. The breaking point for Daniel really came down to a simple object, didn't it? That best teacher mug from Bertie. To anyone else, it's just a cheap piece of ceramic.
But for Daniel, it was a lifeline.
It was the last piece of evidence he had that he was still a good man and a good father. When Lily Platt accidentally bumps into him and breaks it, she doesn't just break a mug. She breaks Daniel's last remaining connection to his professional identity. Look at how he reacts. It's not just sadness. It's a total surrender to his darker side. He doesn't go home to fix things. He heads straight to the Rovers. He's given up. Psychologically, that broken mug represents his shattered ego. He feels like he can't be the best teacher anymore because the world and those trolls won't let him. So he figures, if he can't be the hero of his own story, he might as well be the villain. This is where things get truly dangerous. When he passes out drunk on the sofa, leaving Bertie to fend for himself, we see the ultimate failure of his character. The child he claims he is protecting is the one who ends up paying the price for his self-pity. The image of Bertie trying to cook for himself while smoke pours through the flat is heartbreaking. It's the moment Daniel's victim narrative officially stops working. You can't be the victim when your own neglect is putting a toddler in a life-threatening situation. Then we have the ambush. Those two lads pelting him with paint isn't just a prank in Daniel's eyes. It's a physical version of the stain the trolls have put on his name. He is literally and figuratively marked. And his reaction? Threatening to kill them while they film him? That is exactly the proof the trolls need to show everyone that he's a violent, unstable man. He's falling into every single trap they set for him. He's reacting with his lizard brain instead of his Oxford brain. And then we see him in Speed Doll, where Idris Nasir is laughing at the video. The rage that explodes there is the result of weeks of being mocked, judged, and undermined. In that moment, Idris becomes the face of everyone who has ever doubted Daniel. But here's the thing we have to ask ourselves. Is Daniel really just a victim of circumstance? In my opinion, he is responsible for his own reactions. He is choosing to escalate. He is choosing the bottle over his son. He is choosing rage over reflection. It feels like Daniel is using the trolling as an excuse to indulge in the violent tendencies he's always had buried deep inside. It's much easier to be an angry man than it is to admit you're a failed man. Don't you think? Now, with Bertie missing and social services on the way, Daniel is about to face a reality that no amount of fancy words can fix. The Barlow family is trying to close ranks, like they always do. But this time, the golden boy might have finally run out of chances. Ken's willingness to cover for him in the past, like lying to the police and saying he just fell down the stairs, has really just enabled this behavior. By protecting him from the consequences of attacking his own father, Ken essentially told Daniel that he is above the rules, but now, those choices are coming back to haunt them. If Bertie is found safe, the damage to Daniel's rights as a parent might already be too much to fix. And what about Ken? If Daniel can't control himself around an 85-year-old man, how on earth can he be trusted with a child? It's a terrifying question that the authorities are definitely going to be asking, so what happens next? I'm predicting a total fracture of the Barlow family. Adam is already completely fed up with Daniel's antics, and this latest assault on Ken might be the final straw for him. We might even see a legal battle for custody of Bertie, with Adam perhaps stepping in as a more stable guardian for the little boy. Can you imagine the drama in that courtroom? As for Jodie, her guilt is starting to flicker just a little bit, isn't it? But is it enough to make her confess? Personally, I doubt it. She's way too deep in her own web of lies. I suspect she'll try to pin the trolling on someone else, maybe even Megan, to try and stay in Daniel's good graces. But eventually the digital trail is going to lead right back to her. And when Daniel finally finds out the truth, his reaction will likely be the most violent thing we have ever seen on the street. At the end of the day, Daniel Osbourne is a man who thinks he's the lead character in some great literary tragedy. But the reality is, he's behaving like a villain in a common crime drama. He's replaced his books with booze and his empathy with ego. Whether he can find redemption is a big question, but the more pressing one is, who is he going to hurt next? I want to know what you think about all of this. Do you think Daniel's attack on Ken was truly an accident? Or is there a part of him that purposefully targets his father whenever he's under pressure? And what about Jodie Ramsey? Can she ever be redeemed for what she's doing to Daniel and Bertie? Or has she officially crossed into unforgivable villain territory? This story is getting darker by the minute, and I honestly can't wait to hear your theories on where Bertie has gone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the chaos on the cobbles, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a Weatherfield update. There is so much more to uncover, and we're going to be right here to talk through every single twist and turn. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the comments. It's interesting, isn't it? How a character we once rooted for can become someone we're almost afraid of. Daniel's journey has been such a roller coaster, but right now, it feels like the car has flown off the tracks. When you think back to when he first arrived, he was this studious, quiet guy. Now, he's a man who's lashing out at everyone, his ex, his dad, even random kids on the street. It makes you wonder if that quiet, studious version of him was ever really real, or if it was just a mask he wore to fit in. And let's talk about Megan for a second. She's obviously a piece of work, grooming a teenager like Will. But the way Daniel reacted to her wasn't about justice for Will, was it? It was about his own wounded pride. It's like he couldn't stand the fact that he was the one being manipulated. He's so used to being the one in control, the one with all the answers. When Megan took that away from him, she took away his entire sense of self. And that's a dangerous thing to do to a man who already has a history of violence. Speaking of history, we really have to look at the 2017 attack on Ken to understand what's happening now. Back then, Daniel was struggling with the pressure of Oxford and the disappearance of his mother. He felt like Ken was trying to control his life, and he snapped. He hit Ken with a heavy book, the irony of that, right? And let him fall down the stairs. That wasn't an accident. That was an intentional act of violence against his own father. So when he accidentally hits Ken now, it's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's like his brain has a shortcut to violence whenever he feels cornered. And what about the rest of the family? Ken is so desperate to have a relationship with his son that he's willing to overlook almost anything. He lied to the police for him. He told Adam and the rest of the family that it was an accident. He even convinced Daniel to burn the evidence of the first attack. But by doing that, Ken didn't help Daniel. He just taught him that he can get away with anything as long as his dad is there to clean up the mess. Now, Ken is the one getting hurt again. It's a tragic cycle of enablement and abuse that's finally coming to a head. Then there's Adam. He's been the scapegoat for Daniel's actions before. He was arrested for the attack on Ken that Daniel actually committed. He's seen Daniel get the golden child treatment while he's always been the bad boy. No wonder he's so quick to call Daniel out now. He's done with the lies and the cover-ups. He's seeing Daniel for who he really is, even if Ken isn't ready to do that yet. The tension between those two is going to be explosive, especially if Bertie's safety is on the line. And let's not forget the newest player in all of this, Idris Nasir. He's already making waves, isn't he? Laughing at that video of Daniel being pelted with paint was a bold move. It shows that he's not afraid of Daniel, and he's not going to play by the usual Weatherfield rules. Daniel's explosion in Speed Doll was exactly what the trolls wanted to see. It just reinforced the idea that he's a loose cannon. Idris is going to be an interesting person to watch in the coming weeks, especially with his connections to the rest of the street. But the real heart of the story is Bertie. That poor little boy has been through so much. He lost his mom to cancer when he was just a baby. And now his dad, the person who's supposed to be his rock, is falling apart. The fact that Bertie was being bullied at school because of a trolling is just heart-wrenching. Kids can be so cruel, and Bertie is the one who's suffering for his dad's mistakes. And then to be left alone while his dad passes out drunk? It's just too much for a child to handle. The scene where the smoke starts pouring from the kitchen is one of the most stressful things I've seen on the show in a long time. You're just sitting there, screaming at the TV for Daniel to wake up. But he's too far gone. And when he finally does wake up and realizes Bertie is missing, the panic he feels is real, but it's a panic of his own making. He had so many chances to get help, but he chose to hide away in his flat with Jodie and a bottle of vodka instead. Speaking of Jodie, what is her endgame? She says she wants a place to stay, but is that really all it is? She seems to take such a sick pleasure in watching Daniel suffer. Every time she posts a new message as truth teller, she's twisting the knife just a little bit more. And the way she manipulates him into suspecting other people like David Platt, that's just pure evil. She's isolating him from everyone who could actually help him, making him completely dependent on her. But she might have made a mistake. That sheepish look she had when Daniel walked in on her, the comment she made that revealed she knew more than she should, she's getting sloppy. And Daniel, even in his drunken state, is starting to notice.
He's not as stupid as she thinks he is.
But will he be able to put the pieces together before it's too late? Or will his own rage get in the way of the truth? And what about Megan? She's still lurking around, isn't she? Watching the Driscoll family from the shadows. She's like a predator waiting for the right moment to strike. Her grooming of Will was calculated and cruel, and she doesn't seem to have any remorse for it. The fact that she's still in touch with him, sending him her new mobile number, it's just disgusting. She's not done with him yet, and she's certainly not done with Daniel. The whole Driscoll family is in turmoil right now. Will is on the edge, literally climbing up on scaffolding while swigging vodka. He feels like his life is over, and he's right to feel that way. Megan has taken everything from him. And Sam Blakeman calling him evil? That's got to hurt. The Driscolls are a mess, and it's all thanks to Megan Walsh. But Daniel is the one who brought her into their lives. He's the one who gave her a job and trusted her. And he's the one who's going to have to live with the consequences of that choice for the rest of his life. There's also the whole Theo Silverton murder investigation going on in the background. Todd Grimshaw is right in the middle of it, as usual. The relationship between him and Theo was so toxic and abusive. Seeing Theo menace Todd with a knife was just terrifying. And now Theo is dead, and everyone is a suspect. Todd, Danielle, even Summer. It's a complex web of lies and secrets that's finally starting to unravel. How does this all connect to Daniel? Well, it just adds to the overall sense of chaos and violence on the street. Weatherfield is not a safe place right now. Everyone is on edge, everyone is hiding something. And Daniel is just the latest person to snap. It feels like the whole street is a powder keg, and Daniel's outburst was just the spark that set it off. And let's not forget about Leanne Battersby and her new romance with Idris. Alia is right to warn her that she's playing with fire. Idris seems charming on the surface, but there's something dark about him, isn't there? The way he grabbed Damo and steered him into the Jinnel? That doesn't look like the behavior of a good guy. Leanne has a history of picking the wrong men, and it looks like she might be doing it again. But back to Daniel. What is his future on the street? Can he ever go back to being a teacher? Probably not. His reputation is in tatters, and that video of him threatening the kids is going to follow him everywhere. He's lost his job, his home is a mess, and his son is missing. He's hit rock bottom, and then he just kept digging. Will he find Bertie? I think so, but the trauma of this experience is going to stay with that little boy forever. And the fallout with social services is going to be massive. Daniel is going to have to prove that he's a fit parent, and right now all the evidence is against him. He's going to have to face some very hard truths about himself and his relationship with alcohol and violence. And what about Ken? Will he finally stop enabling Daniel? Will he finally hold him accountable for his actions? Or will he continue to make excuses for him because he's so afraid of losing his son? Ken is a man who's lost so much in his life,